everyone, it's Nisha. So today I wanted to try all the BK Beauty luxury brush set. You might remember I was sent this when I was away, and I thought I will try as many as I can today. I'm going to only use those. I have tried BK Beauty brushes because I have the Angie Hot and Flashy set, and I also have a couple of these, the 2.7, the pencil brush, because I love using it on my lower lash line. So I have tried them, but I haven't tried any face brushes, and there is a bit more different eyes brushes. I think you get 16 brushes in this set. They are absolutely beautiful. They are cruelty-free, synthetic, very soft, feel very good, and I'm really looking forward to trying this 101 foundation brush. I know a lot of people love this brush. And then when I do my eyes, I have a sort of Natasha Denona palette dupe, the Camel palette. So yeah, we will do that. Now I will tell you all the numbers of the brushes that I'm using. I don't have it in front of me what they are for, but I never really take any notice of what they tell you what they are for. It's just a guidance. You know, it depends how you put your makeup on, what you want to use the brushes for. So we have the foundation brush 101, then there is this one 105. It's soft but quite dense, so to me this brush would be very good to apply powder foundation or mineral powder foundation, because this would really work that in. I don't think I would use it for anything else. It's too dense, but very soft. Then you've got 108. I probably would use it to set my powder underneath my eyes. 102, beautiful powder brush. Then you've got another 103, which is a bit smaller, that could be used for powder as well. I probably would use 107 for blush, and maybe 106, which is sort of smaller, much smaller version of the 105. Oops, you see they have the same shape, it's just much smaller. I'll probably use that for bronzer. I don't know yet. And then here are your eye brushes, and to be honest, you should be able to do your whole eye look with these brushes. I am going to use Delilah Alibi foundation. I'm still using it from my travel bottles. You know, I decanted them in my travel bottles, have bamboo and spice, and I will mix them on my palette. You can get this on Amazon. I usually do it on my finger, but I so hate getting my fingers dirty with foundation. So I sort of do equal parts of both, because I have a bit of fake tan on. I can't let go yet of the fake tan. I just don't like being pale. This spatula comes with it to mix it. I see if I can find it, but you can get them on Amazon, no problem. Right, let's use this 101 brush. So I would say that this brush, you know, my favorite brush is the Artist Oval 7, which you can't really get on its own. I can't find them anywhere, but they are so expensive. So this, I would say, is like in between the artist brush, because it's got that flat dense surface, and like a kabuki stippling brush, you know. Yes, very nice. So as you can see, I'm in a different place. You usually see the Christmas tree behind me, but I thought I'd try it here because I love this display of my winter wonderland, and you don't often get to see it. I don't know how it will come out because obviously I have daylight behind me through that big window, so I don't know how the lighting is, but hopefully it's okay. For concealer, I'm going to use the Rimmel the Multitasker in 060. In the BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy, there is a brush that is like a miniature foundation brush like this for concealer, I suppose, but I just don't like using brushes for concealer. I use my finger usually first, or a sponge, because you will get more coverage with a brush, but obviously I want to dilute the concealer under my eyes because, you know, the skin that is all crepey and baggy, you don't want too much product on there. And then I always go over with the beauty blender just to maybe absorb if I put a bit too much somewhere. Right. Yeah, this definitely applies foundation really nice. It gives you really good coverage because it's so dense, just like the artist brush. Okay, let's set under my eyes. I'm using Morphe Bacon Set in Brightening Pink, and let's use, I really don't want to use these brushes, they look so beautiful, clean. Honestly, to me brushes are, I don't know, like piece of art, and I would like them to just be displayed nice and clean. Where is this brush? I will use the 108. It's very similar to, the shape is very similar to brushes that I use under my eyes anyway. But you could use this brush for contouring as well because it's got a nice tapered end. Very nice. Now I usually set my foundation with the Lolo mineral powder in Cookie. And which brush shall I use for that? Now, the one that I told you about, 105, I wouldn't use that because that will give me a lot of coverage with the powder foundation. I would use that if I was using powder foundation on its own without liquid foundation. So I won't use that one. I probably will use the 103 because I use the powder foundation more like a setting powder, but it gives a bit of color and it doesn't look as matte. You know, mineral foundations don't look as matte. Oh, this is so soft. You see, and this, because it's so soft, it just skims over the skin and doesn't give you too much coverage then. Oh, this is beautiful. Love it. Bronzer, as usual, I'm using the Sigma Matte Bronzer in medium, and I will use 106. Again, even though it's quite dense, it's very, very soft. Lovely, lovely brushes. Do you know this, where I'm sitting here, I don't know how the lighting is for you, but for me, even though I have lights here, I don't know, my lighting is not that good. I just have shadows from different places, so. And now for my blush, I'm going to use the Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy Champagne palette. I love this palette. These are like glowy, they are not matte, very glowy blushes, and they are just beautiful. I probably will use the Stop and Smell the Rosé, which is the darkest one. it's very mauvey. And for that, I am going to use the 107. They pick up product really well. You know, like bad quality synthetic brushes are very, these feel like almost like natural bristle brushes, whereas some synthetic brushes are so sleek and shiny, nothing actually sticks to them, so it doesn't really pick up the product really well. But these ones really pick up the product. Yeah, this light is not very good for me. I don't know, I feel like I'm a bit in a shadow. Doesn't matter. Okay, I did my eyebrows, we will do the eyes now. So, you've seen last week, I think, I briefly quickly used the Sigma Warm Wishes palette, which is in the holiday collection. And I used it with that gold. And the other day, I used it again, but with this eyeshadow, and I thought, this really reminds me of something. And this reminds me of the Natasha Denona Camel palette. The difference is you get 6 eyeshadows here, you get 5, and you've got that sort of rich reddish brown burgundy color, which you don't have in Camel palette. And they both are sort of neutral leaning cool browns. And I think I could get the same look with both of them. So I might do one eye with one and one with the other. Here are the swatches. So at the top, you have the Natasha Denona Camel palette. So as you can see, these two browns are very similar to each other, which is a bit of a waste in Natasha Denona palette. And then you have, this is the flannel from Sigma. Then the dark brown from Natasha Denona, and then chestnut from the Sigma palette. The chestnut is richer and darker and much smoother. Can you see the Natasha Denona eyeshadows, because of their formulations and the pigmentations, they can go a bit patchy. So if you are not that experienced with eyeshadows, you might find it quite hard to work with, whereas the Sigma are so smooth and beautifully blending beautifully. And then can you see the shimmery ones? So that's at the top is the Natasha Denona Camel palette, and then at the bottom is Frost from the Sigma palette. Frost is a bit more shimmery and a bit brighter, I would say. And then I swatched this shimmery sort of brown, but they don't look anything alike. This one is from, sorry, this side. This bottom one is from Sigma, the top one is from Natasha Denona. So, Natasha Denona palette has 5 eyeshadows and it's about £41. And the Sigma is £25, almost half price. You get 1 more eyeshadows, but they are a bit smaller. But I still think that this is beautiful palette. If you always fancy the Natasha Denona Camel palette, you will get very similar look with that one. So I will use now the BK Beauty brushes. I will use the same brush for each eyeshadow. I will just clean it off on my tissue, and I will do each eye with each palette. So I think I will apply my crease color with the 202 and then blend with 201, because this one is a bit more pointy, so it will go well in my crease, and this one is nice, big and fluffy for blending. So on this eye I will do Sigma, and I will start with flannel, that light brown. Do you know, I've worked out why I can't see properly. Because the daylight from the window is bouncing off my mirror. So I look really dark here, even though I've got lights in front of me. Oh, lovely and soft. Then I will clean it off. It cleans off really nicely as well. I'm just doing it on a paper towel. And then from Natasha Denona, I will use the last brown here, which is, I think, Zand. I'm not sure because, you know, when you have the names at the back, they're usually back to front. They are just so similar. You know, when you swatch them and you look at them, they might look a bit different, but on the eye, you wouldn't see the difference. Can you see? And I will just go over with the same eyeshadows just to deepen it. Do you know, I probably don't even need another brush to blend it because this one blends out things so lovely. I really like these brushes. I do still prefer natural bristle brushes, but for synthetic they are beautiful. Let me put a clip back in because I've given myself a little fringe and it's in my way. So if this eye looks a bit different, forgive me, but I have such a dark thing here. And if I put my mirror in front of me, you will just see the mirror, so, and you won't see me. Okay, look, they look so similar. I'm going to take that 201, this one was 202, and just go over the edges of this. Okay, now I don't really have small brush to work on here. I could use the 203. Yeah, I probably could. Or there is 205, it's an angle brush. This could be good. Can you see the angle? And if I go like this, but it's a bit big. And I don't know if I'm going to try it. So I'm going to go to Sigma Chestnut now, which is the darkest brown, with this 205. I will try the other brush on this eye and I tell you which one I prefer. You know, brushes are so individual. The quality is there, but obviously the shape and what you're using them for, it will be so different for everyone. So I will tell you my favorites from this. But really in this set, and I think she's got sales on those. In this set you've got everything really for doing your makeup. Okay, so I'm going to try on the other one the 203, and I will use this darkest one, which is not as rich and as dark as the one in Sigma palette. Definitely doesn't have the same punch, but I will just build it up. Yeah, I think I have a bit more control with this one. Mind you, you can see me actually like this. You don't see my mirror too much, so I will have my mirror in front of me because I can definitely see better. Actually, when I've built up that Natasha Denona eyeshadow, is as rich as this one. Yeah, it's a nice brush, this angled one, the 205, but I would prefer it if it was a bit smaller. But that's just me. Look at it, they look, it's identical, you wouldn't know really. I think when I use the light eyeshadow it might be a bit different because the Sigma one is much brighter and, oh, getting confused, and more shimmery. Let's take again 201 and now which one. I think I have to use this one now for, although this one would be better, 203, but I have to use 206 now for the light eyeshadow. So I'm going to use Frost from Sigma on one side of this brush. These brushes definitely pick up eyeshadow so well and also lay it down, because sometimes the brush will pick up the product but you won't really leave it on your eye, on your eyelid. It just sort of keeps it in the brush. So yes, I am quite impressed. So this is the Sigma one, and then with the other side I'm going to go to this one in Natasha Denona. They look very similar in tone, it's just the Sigma one has a bit more sparkle. The Natasha Denona is sort of straight up pearl, whereas Sigma has a bit more sparkle. But in tone they are very similar. Now, I really love this brush, looking forward to using that one. This is 204. Can you see that really lovely stiff, quite flat brush? This is going to be fabulous for under here, for like a darker color, the one that you put the closest to your lash line. So I am going to use the Chestnut from Warm Wishes. I'm going to use it on both eyes. You've seen now, I'm not using any other colors. You've seen now on my upper lash line how similar they are, because I don't have another brush to use for the other eyeshadow. Love that. Love this brush. Okay, that's gonna go on my list to buy more. And another BK Beauty brush that I already know and use a lot is this pencil brush 207. I already have two of them, and I use that then with a lighter eyeshadow to buff this darker one out. And then I will take the Flannel from Sigma again, which is the lightest brown, and just buff underneath this darker one with this pencil brush. Love it. Now there is this tiny angled brush, very precise, wonderful, because you can use this for your cake liner, or if you use pomade you can draw hairs with that one because it's so sharp and tiny. So I'm going to go into Chestnut, and I use it here as a liner. So I have used all the brushes. Look at the, it's just so similar. The only difference is this sparkly frost is frosty, more frosty, whereas this one is smoother, more pearl, whereas this one's got a bit more sparkle. But in tone they are very similar. I feel like this look is the same. Okay, I will tell you at the end which are my favorite brushes. Let me just do my mascara and I will be back. So that's the finished look. I think the eyes look identical. So if you ever wanted the Natasha Denona Camel palette, this will give you exactly the same look. Unless you wanted the gold look, this palette has that really bright gold, this one doesn't. For my mascara, I always use the Catrice Glam Doll Sculpt and Volume first, and then I top it off with Anastasia Lash Brag. And on my lips, I have NYX Los Angeles lip liner. You can't really get it in the UK. I don't know if you can get it in the US. I've got the Natasha Denona lipstick on, which is called Natasha, but this is from her latest collection. Is it my Dream Palette collection, and Natasha gloss as well from the same collection. Okay, let's talk about the brushes. Love the brushes. So my favorite is definitely one of my favorites, the foundation brush. It actually reminds me a bit of the Lila foundation brush, which is similar. I probably won't use the 105. I don't know, I might use it for something and think, yes, it's fabulous for what I want. I just haven't made my mind up what I would use it for. And I love the rest of them, to be honest. All these brushes are wonderful. You know, I use that one for powder. There's another one I can use for powder. This one for setting under my eyes, bronzer. They are all wonderful. They are so soft, honestly. And now with the eye brushes, I think my favorite is the 202. Love 204. Obviously love 207, the pencil brush. This is very, very useful brush, the 203. And I could do without those ones, but they all beautiful brushes. You know, it's just how I use my brushes and what I use them for. So all in all, I will leave you the link to them. I think she has sale on them, on that whole collection, and it's well worth buying because you always save money on that. Order it for Christmas. Okay, my lovelies, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and stay fabulous. Bye.